this is one of the busiest airports in the country, and we haven't had a fatal commercial airplane crash in 15 years, and so Boeing and all the other, and all the commercial airliners have done a great job in terms of improving safety up until tonight.
But first of all, a search and rescue operation is underway in Washington after an American Airlines flight collided mid-air with a helicopter. There were 60 passengers and 4 crew members on board the aircraft. 3 US Army soldiers were on board the Black Hawk helicopter. Now, Matthew Carpucci is a meteorologist whose apartment in Washington, D.C. overlooks the runway.
I live in Arlington, Virginia, which is only about a kilometer, if that, from the runway. I have a 20th floor apartment. My rooftop is 23rd or 24th floor, and I overlook the runway with a panoramic view. I'm the tallest building in the area. And what I'm seeing right now is just more emergency lights than you can possibly imagine, dotting the entire length of the runway on both sides of the Potomac River. I see what appear to be rescue boats off to the north as well. A park is inundated with more red and blue flashing lights, and it looks like there may even be some additional police lights on the highway bridge about another kilometer to the north. So the first responders are literally responding from all angles right now. And the weird part is how silent it is, considering this is one of the busiest airports in this part of the country, and to hear no planes taking off or landing at this time of day is so unusual.
Did you hear anything when the collision happened?
I heard a distant bang, but I was just sort of settling at home at time. And there's so much construction ongoing in my area right now that it's not that terribly unusual.
Yeah.
But the weird part was after that, I sort of listened for a follow-up, and then there really was nothing. It was so quiet after a little bit, other than so many sirens. And that's what really brought me over to the window and eventually the rooftop.
You can listen to that full interview on Times Radio Breakfast at 6 o'clock. But we can go to Washington now to speak to the White House reporter for Politico, Daniel Lippman, for the very latest. Daniel, thank you for staying up to speak to us. Just tell us,
Thank you.
Obviously, minute by minute, this is changing. What's the latest?
So there have been fatalities, bodies pulled out of the river, but this is still a very fast-moving situation, and the law enforcement authorities have not really released a full spectrum of how many people survived, if any, and also how many people who have been found dead. And so this is. Remember, we're in the winter, so it's not exactly 60 degrees in the water, and so that's why they've really surged emergency personnel to try to get people from that frigid, icy, cold water.
So tell us, what do we know happened?
So what we know, and there's actually footage online from a camera from the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, which is right along the river, the Potomac River, showing a fireball between the airplane and also the Army helicopter at around 9:45 or so. And so these helicopters, and I've lived in the Washington, D.C. area for a long time, so I've always seen these military helicopters, sometimes Marine One or Marine One exercises. That's the president's helicopter, and so flying along the river. And so they've released air traffic controller tape, which where they're telling both of the entities, hey, look, watch out for the helicopter, watch out for the plane, and so it appears to be a very tragic situation where you had the helicopter in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the plane barreling in at night when you have less visibility, causing this horrific explosion.
Yeah, and it's very much being framed, and the president has said this as well, as an accident, Daniel.
Yeah, and so President Trump has been informed. Vice President Vance tweeted about how, for people to keep their, keep people in their thoughts and prayers. And so I think that, this is one of President Trump's early challenges. I would expect him to be comforting survivors, likely, or surviving family members in the days to come. And there's going to be a massive investigation about how this happened, because this is one of the busiest airports in the country. And we haven't had a fatal commercial airplane crash in 15 years. And so Boeing and all the other, and all the commercial airliners have done a great job in terms of improving safety up until tonight.
Yeah. Daniel, thank you so much for the update. Daniel Lippman speaking to us there from Washington. More details as they're coming. CBS are reporting that military helicopter was on a training flight. There's actually going to be a press conference live in about 20 minutes' time. So we'll bring that to you here on Times Radio. The US Coast Guard says it's deploying every available resource to try and, rescue and recover as much as they can. Obviously, Daniel's just talked to us about the weather conditions and the challenging circumstances that the search and rescue teams are working under. We'll keep you up to date here.
We are here to brief you on the very tragic events of this evening, where we know a passenger plane coming to the airport here collided with a military helicopter.
Tonight, I spoke with President Trump and his team in the Situation Room. I had a conversation with Secretary Pete Hegseth as well, and then with the Kansas delegation and the mayor and others in leadership, as well as Governor Youngkin from Virginia and Governor Kelly from Kansas. From the Department of Transportation and FAA's perspective, we are going to offer full support to those on the ground, to the mayor, but also to the NTSB, who is going to be conducting the investigation in this matter.
It's an active operation that's going to last many hours as we continue to work through recovery efforts and rescue operations. This will be ongoing for quite a while. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and our communities, and we appreciate all DC's support to our agency and our federal partners.
It's really hard when you lose, probably over 60 Kansans simultaneously, and I don't want to forget the pilots and the flight attendants, were doing, do their job, and the military personnel we lost. All those lives are so valuable, and it is such a tragedy that we lost them.
So certainly I speak for the people of Washington, 700,000 of us who are extremely sorry for the families who are experiencing loss tonight. And so we want you to know that we will continue to work with American Airlines to share information as frequently as possible and make sure that we're getting accurate information. The focus now is rescuing people, and that's what all of our personnel are focused on. And all we can confirm tonight is the number of people on each aircraft, 64 people on the American Airlines plane and 3 people on the military helicopter. When we can't provide any more information about recovery efforts.
We will reevaluate where we are with the rescue operation in the morning when we get a better sense of it, but we are still out there working, and we're going to continue that throughout the night.
Is there any part of the search happening on land?
We don't know yet, but we're working.
Thank you.